Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mrs. Burns, please.
Mr. Sullivan is absent with prior notice. Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Present.
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Brochus?
Present.
Mrs. Lafferty?
Here.
Mrs. Marshall is also absent with prior notice. Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Mr. Sporny?
Here.
And Mrs. Walkeezer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Burns, are there any announcements, please?
There are no announcements.
Executive session. The board met in executive session just prior to this meeting to discuss personnel matters, personnel claims, labor relations issues, student settlement agreements and policies, and the lease of real property. Informational presentations were given on the process of updating district policies and on projects for roads adjacent to the Maple Point parcel. Superintendent's report, Mr. Brown.
I think we will start tonight. I think we have a couple students here from Maple Point that wanted to say a few words. You guys can come up to the podium and introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Gavin.
And I'm Braylon.
Maple Point Middle School will be holding its annual Veterans Day ceremony on Friday, November 8th, 2024. This will be our 23rd year celebrating these heroes. The ceremony will take place in the Maple Point School Auditorium. This is a wonderful way for our students and community to show appreciation for our local veterans. We celebrate the courage and sacrifices they have shown in defending our country.
The Maple Point staff and students would like to invite veterans in our community to attend the celebration at Maple Point Middle School the morning of November 8th. Attendees should arrive at the auditorium lobby at 9:30 a.m. for refreshments and check-in. The ceremony will begin at 10:30 a.m. Veterans who are interested in attending should contact Maple Point Middle School 215-809-6230 or register in the main office at Maple Point. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on November 8th.
Good job, gentlemen. Ms. Foley, thank you as usual for putting everything together with Maple Point. This is by far one of my favorite events and one of the coolest events you will see anywhere in this district. I highly encourage anybody on the board that would like to come see it. I think Mr. Allen's been there in the past.
I highly recommend it. It's a fabulous program.
So.
It's wonderful to reach out to the veterans. I like to just wander in the background and listen to the conversations that our students have with the veterans that come. It's just a warm, wonderful day. I enjoyed it.
So we look forward to it. We thank you for everything you do, and thank you guys for being here this evening. This is also Fire Prevention Week across the country. Some of our firefighters from our local fire companies have been visiting the elementary schools to teach our students about the importance of fire safety and demonstrate some of the equipment they use to keep us safe at home, in schools, and in our community. We thank them for their time and effort they spend on this important lesson and for everything they do to protect us every day. Also, on the topic of fire safety, I want to recognize some of the fundraisers that have been taking place at Schweitzer and Miller Elementary Schools and Carl Sandburg Middle School to support a Neshaminy family that was displaced from their home after a devastating fire recently. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in the fire, and the outpouring support from the community has been very gratifying to see. I thank our staff, students, and their families for their contributions toward helping to get this family back on their feet after their loss. This week, our Curriculum and Assessment Department is excited to introduce the new Linkit Student Portal, which allows parents and guardians to easily view their child's performance on both benchmark and state assessments, along with a variety of other local assessments. It's a great tool for our families to get a clear, comprehensive overview of their students' progress and to help support student academic success. Instructions on how to access this online portal are being shared with parents and guardians and can also be found on the district website under Curriculum and Instruction. And finally, I want to remind everybody that this week's home football game, which is a pink out game, will be held this Thursday evening, October 10th, and schools will be closed on Friday in recognition of the Yom Kippur holiday. And that's all I have, Ms. Hallenbach.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Now, there are some action items for tonight's meeting. I'd like to make a master motion for 2.01 administrative retirements, resignations, 2.02 administrative appointments, 2.03 certificated retirements, resignations, 2.04 certificated appointments, 2.05 certificated leaves of absence, 2.06 support retirements, resignations, 2.07 support appointments, 2.08 support leave of absence, 2.09 support revised leaves of absence, and 2.10 support ancillary appointments. On this master motion, I would like to take note, Kathy Christie is retiring with 27.7 years, sorry about that. And Leah Barr, math teacher, is retiring with 31.3 years of service. I thank you for your dedication to Neshaminy. There's a motion on the floor. Can I have a second? Second by Mrs. Brochus. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Bowman, if you would like to.
Absolutely, thank you. Just want to congratulate a couple people on this agenda. First, Dirk Albaran is moving into the role of acting assistant principal effective January 2nd. He's assuming that role as Dawn Kelly is retiring towards the end of this year. So congratulations to her as well, well over 30 years in public education and done a great job at running Sandburg Middle School for a long time. Her longtime assistant principal is Mr. Albaran, and we are excited to have him in this acting role after the first of the year. And congratulations to Mr. Stephen Pierce, who is with us tonight in the audience. He is replacing Gina Ross as our new supervisor of pupil services, and we are happy and excited to have him. So congratulations.
Mr. Allen, please.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. I'd like to place a motion on the floor, 2.11, Court Creek Elementary School, Stubner change order. Whereas the Neshaminy Board of School Directors approved and contracted with E.R. Stubner, Inc., the contractor, to perform general construction services for the construction of Court Creek Elementary School. Whereas in any construction project, there may be change orders which need to be approved. Whereas due to circumstances beyond the control of the district and contractor in connection with permits, contractor incurred additional costs outside the scope of its contract relative to rework of already excavated footings, remobilization of a crane, and temporary heat in the actual amount of $413,289.10. And whereas the parties agree to approve the execution of the attached change order for an amount of $413,289.10, which also includes an increase in the substantial completion date by 121 days to November 30th, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy School District authorizes the district business administrator to authorize the attached change order with E.R. Stubner, Inc., which has been reviewed and approval by the district solicitor.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lafferty. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mr. Rodriguez, please.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. I'd like to make a motion for 2.12, settlement NFT agreements. Whereas the non-presidential, sorry about that, presidential resolution of the August 15, 2024 grievance filed by the Neshaminy Federation of Teachers, the NFT, relative to employee X was proposed and accepted by the NFT pursuant to the terms as outlined in the attached memorandum dated August 30th, 2024, to the NFT by the district, which was conditioned upon a board approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the non-presidential resolution relative to the grievance associated with the employee X is hereby approved and accepted, which shall expire 1 day less than the existing collective bargaining agreement with the NFT on June 30th, 2025. And further, the board president, secretary, and administration are authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the terms of the non-presidential resolution on behalf of the school district. Files attached.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Mrs. Walbeezer. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. Mrs. Walbeezer, please.
I'd like to make a motion 2.13, the 2024 to 2025 Bucks County IU number 22 Homestead Farmstead District Agreement. Whereas the Bucks IU has coordinated with the Bucks County Assessment Office and RTI Inc. to fulfill district responsibilities under Act 1, the district shall pay to the Bucks IU the actual cost per parcel plus postage and any other costs associated with the cooperative organization printing, advertising, and mailing of the homestead exclusion notices in December 2024. Be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached Homestead Farmstead District Agreement, and there is an attachment.
Thank you, Ms. Walbeezer. There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please? Second by Ms. Lafferty. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Vote passes 7-0. So far, the items for approval at the public board meeting are 3.01 routine business matters, 3.02 homebound instruction, and 3.03 student settlement agreements. I'm sure there will be more added as we go along. Committee reports, business operations. Our next meeting is November 20th, 6:30 in this room. I do not have an agenda yet for it. But as always, we talk about all the finances related to the district, so everybody is welcome to come out with that. Education Development, Mr. Rodriguez, please.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. The Educational Development Committee met on Tuesday, September 17th. The committee reviewed the following agenda items: the revised district calendar for 24-25 year, the curriculum and instruction departments of 2024 goals and updates, and the 2024 summer programs review and updates. The committee recommended the revised district calendar for board approval, and the entire Educational Development Committee presentation with details of each agenda item is included for public view on board docs. Our next meeting will be November 19th at 6:30.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Allen, Facilities and Planning.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. On Thursday, September 12th, Facility and Planning Committee met in this room, and we went over agenda items: Court Creek Elementary playground proposals. We got a couple of, I believe we looked over a few quotes on that. We got an update on our field house project. We were updated on some road improvement pertaining to our construction projects going on. And we received a proposal from the Schrader Group on a capacity study that should give us after all of our changes in the district, new buildings, renovations, that should give us a snapshot of where we are, and we can make some decisions moving forward. The next meeting is this week, October 10th at 6:30 in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Policy Committee, Ms. Lafferty.
Our next policy committee meeting will be in this room, 6:30 on October 24th.
Thank you. IU Board, Ms. Walbeezer.
The IU board met on September 17th and discussed a number of matters. One was the movement of the Fab Lab Center relocation in the same building. It moved suites. Also, the use of the Pearl S. Buck School as a new potential space for the IU, and the appointment of a school resource officer, which is not required by law but recommended due to the special needs of the growing student population. And they're looking at one person to start and see how that goes. The next meeting is on Tuesday, October 15th.
Thank you, Ms. Wallbeazer. Neshaminy Education Foundation, Mr. Sporting, please.
Yes, thank you. This month, the NEF is holding 2 fundraisers. The first is a raffle for 4 seats at the Eagles-Cowboys game on December 29th. Raffle tickets can be purchased at the upcoming homecoming football game on October 18th or at Old Langhorne Harvest Day on October 26th. The next fundraiser is the 2nd annual Neshaminy Castleball Tournament, which is being held this month at each elementary and middle school, with a final championship round to be held at the high school on November 4th. The NEF thanks the physical education teachers and other staff volunteers for helping with this popular and fun event, and the students for their participation. The next monthly meeting of the NEF board will be held here at Maple Point on Monday, October 14th at 4 p.m. Members of the community are invited to attend and participate. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Sporny. PSBA liaison, Mrs. Marshall, is not here tonight, although I do know she said that there was nothing to report at this time. Technical school, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck. The Bucks County Technical High School Joint Board met at 7:30 on September 23rd, 2024. A couple of things that we went over. We selected a graduation date, which will be June 12th at the Cure Arena. We started a discussion about the admission rubric that we started the discussion. We have a bit of work to do on that that pertains to how we accept students into the tech school. There were a couple things that came up, things that have changed over the years since we first approved it about 3-4 years ago. So we've just started the discussion on seeing what we can do to address those issues. Got an update on the renovations throughout the building that are ongoing through the fall. They were started over the summer, and we came to an agreement. We have an agreement on the table for moving forward of all the 6 sending districts, which I believe will be on our agenda for a vote from this board on our next meeting. The next meeting for the Bucks County Technical High School is October 28th, also at 7:30 in the boardroom over at the tech school. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. This now brings us to second offering for public comment. If there's anybody that would like to make a comment. Does anybody on the board have any future topics? Any board comment? I do actually have one board comment, and I would like to just again welcome Mr. Pierce to Neshaminy. We look forward to seeing you around the area here and getting to know you. Future meetings, as everybody said, we have a facilities and planning meeting this Thursday, 6:30 in this room. Policy committee is October 24th, 6:30 here. Educational Development Committee is November 19th here at 6:30, and the Business Operations Committee is November 20th, Wednesday, 6:30 in this room. And our next public board meeting is October 22nd, Tuesday, 7 o'clock, again in this room. With that, I'd like to make a motion. Mr. Allen seconding it.
Not yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
But I will. Just for board comment, I've noticed a couple things that have come up. If you follow social media, people commenting on things that have been discussed in committees. And I'm just going to say, for those of us who sit on those committees, it's a little frustrating. Things that we talk about or decisions we make, we understand not everybody's going to agree with them. But if you don't come to the meeting and you don't express your opinion, But you do after the decision's been made. Again, it's just frustrating. I just need to urge the community. These are your schools. What happens here pertains to you. Please come out to the committees and make your views known. That's where you can have a full-blown discussion back and forth between the committee members. And we can come to some kind of an agreement. And I guess that's all I want to say about it. I just, again, it's just frustrating to get after the fact and you hear how awful our decision is. And like, yeah, but you didn't come. You didn't speak up when it was appropriate. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Yes, for those of us that have done that. Yes. Anybody else for board comment? Okay, with that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Everybody have a great night. Thank you.